Okay, guys, welcome back. I'm just going to do a quick market update. Well, it might not be so quick. There's so many things to cover. But first up is SoFi, and it seems it has decided to take off, and there's major reason for this. SoFi is right now sitting at $15.73, market cap of 12.92 billion. So it's still sort of low for where we think it's going. Is this a good time to be rushing in? I don't know. We'll take a look at the chart, of course, but it is moving up fast. Still unprofitable. So in this environment, you got to be careful about going into these pumps. But for the long term, I still see this as a reasonable price. First of all, they got their bank charter. Congratulations. We've been waiting for this, and it finally came through. I think it was supposed to happen last year, but it happened this year. So this makes SoFi a real bank, and they might not need a middleman as their bank. So this is why this is big news. Of course, as soon as the news comes out, we have Wedbush pounds the table on SoFi stock. SoFi technology stock has been taking a hammering over the past few months. However, that has all changed on Wednesday after the company was granted the long hoped for U.S. banking charter by the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. Okay, so they got their bank charter. Moreover, the company has been growing at a fast pace and is expected to continue doing so. In 4Q21, members crossed the 3 million threshold and well above the 1.7 million notched a year ago and far above the 1 million of 2 years ago. So they're growing fast in terms of members. And we've talked about this. I'm going to include a link to the SoFi video we've done and one below. Likewise, revenue growth has been impressive from 600 million last year and 450 million beforehand. The company has guided to almost 1 billion of revenue in forward year 2021. We're going to see what happens Q4, but it basically means if they get their bank up and running in 2022, I think February is the day they're supposed to actually have this pass, then that means they can start charging interest directly and make that spread that we discussed about, which is like 2% or so. We have a Discord obviously now, so we're discussing SoFi there, Enphase, FUV, a lot of stocks. You can see everything we're discussing here. But there's a lot of good conversation. And this chart I posted actually, the estimated earnings impact of a bank charter on SoFi Technologies as per management guidance. So this is what they guided in their investor presentation, that in 2022, if they have a bank charter, they're saying that they will have an extra $193 million in EBITDA, adjusted EBITDA, for 2022. I mean, I think they were assuming they might have get it earlier, so we're not exactly sure if it'll be that. But still, you're basically saying they're going to double their EBITDA in 1 year approximately. And, this could be a big thing. So if this does come to pass, remember, nobody was expecting this quite yet. That's why the stock took such a hammering to $12. So now if this does happen, this is good for SoFi investors who are long-term believers. The rest of the year might be a little bit volatile and we might not get what we want out of this first 6 months. But if SoFi is increasing its earnings this way, the stock has to reflect it at some point. So we're just going to have to hold tight. If you go back into our Discord, lots of good comments. Mr. G actually posted this video with Anthony Noto, the CEO of SoFi, talking to Cramer. So let's listen to this for a minute.
Okay, so let's go right to it. First, I don't know, Anthony, if people realize what a big deal this is. I mean, I couldn't just go to the Fed or the government and say, listen, I want to be a bank, right? It doesn't work like that.
No, it's a very arduous process. The bar is really high. The Federal Reserve and the OCC and the FDIC all have a responsibility to protect our banking system, to protect consumers. We think it's critically important to do that as well. We wanted to make sure that we had the right regulatory oversight and the right capabilities to better serve our members. So getting over the bar and being granted the license to open a bank is a huge milestone for us as a company. We'll be able to serve our members much better. Our goal is to be a one-stop shop for all your financial needs, to be there for all the major financial decisions you make and all the days in between. And this license will allow us to do that in an even more differentiated way. SoFi Money will go from an account that we partner with a bank on to our own SoFi checking and savings account. So we'll be able to give a high interest rate on checking, higher than anyone else gives. We'll be able to do that with no fees. We'll be able to provide overdraft protection, the ability to pay with your phone, pay with your card, pay your friends person to person. We would just ask you to do direct deposit with us against that backdrop. And so that's one big differentiator. Okay. And then, of course, as you mentioned, we'll be able to offer more loans at lower interest rates.
It's $12 billion. And I think the last time we looked at Wells Fargo, that was like $150 billion. So if they could become a real banking player, you're talking about, let's say, a 10x from here. This could take a while, obviously, but I'm okay. I'm going to hold SoFi. I like what they're doing. I'm not trying to rush out of the stock. In fact, I thought it was going a little bit lower so I can get some call options for 2024, even thinking about it at $12, but it never got to 10 like we were actually planning. And of course, it takes off on you when you least expect it. That's the way it works. And the whole market could do that on us. It could turn on a dime on good companies. So I know we talk about Enphase a lot, but that's one of the companies where I think it could turn on a dime. Let's move on. The other thing that Anthony Noto covered, or at least somebody posted this, I don't know how accurate this is because I couldn't find Anthony Noto's direct message. Does SoFi Bank being prohibited from crypto activities mean SoFi Money must stop offering the crypto services it offers today? Anthony Noto, supposedly, remember this is I don't know if this is actually accurate, but it has been passed around the internet, which is unreliable. But he said, no, not at all. SoFi crypto activity is not done in the proposed SoFi Bank. It's done via SoFi Invest outside the bank in what's called the bank holding company. And I think other YouTubers have already covered it, that this is accurate. So I'll leave it here. If anyone knows it isn't accurate, please join us. Once again, I'm going to point this out in our Discord. We're talking all these stocks. Let us know anything you find, because then we're just a better community of investors. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get everybody together, everybody who's intelligent, who's not an a-hole, and we want to make a better community of investors. Okay, moving on. I'm going to cover this one briefly only because it started to go into the territory I've discussed at length, and I'm going to include a video up above and below. But FUV is obviously doing poorly in the market, even though they're doing amazing for engineering-wise and the technical stuff they're completing, and I keep reading about. It sounds amazing, but let's just talk as investors and let's not talk about 2030, how wonderful it'll be. Right now, they're at $6.93, a big fall from 36 if anyone's been paying attention. Market cap is under $300 million, so $260 million. I just want to make this clear. If this company succeeds, this market cap is a joke, okay? A total joke. Having said that, it's a big if. This is what the bet is on. I still have my shares. I'm holding them. I'm bag holding because, well, I'm still up. I was buying it too, but let's face it, we're bleeding out slowly here as it goes down. Here's the chart. I cleaned it up. You can go back to all my others. My main trend is still the same, going down. This is the daily chart. Main trend is going down. Here is a big event day. And the reason I'm going to talk about this is because one of the Discord members pointed out something interesting, and we're going to talk about in a second about options. February 22nd, 2022. If something's going to happen, if it's going to pump soon. That anything can happen here. You know, the pump can start if there is one for this event soon. Let me put it this way. Having said that, I'm not rushing in to buy anything because it's in this window and it dropped below my support of around $7.26. It's in this window. There's a bit of support here at $6.63, but my buy is really at around $5.55 if I'm buying more shares. And if it turns around and it pumps, well, it does that. I'm out of that one. If you don't have any shares, you might want to think about DCAing. But in terms of the risk, currently, I don't see a good risk reward currently. So I'm not trying to get more shares right now, just because there's other things on sale. If there was nothing else on sale, I would definitely be DCAing here. But my favorite stocks are on sale: Square, Enphase, even PayPal. They're all on sale. Facebook is even down. So all these bigger companies that are profitable have all been hit in some respect. So I'm looking at those companies right now over this one, but at a certain price, this becomes completely ludicrous, irresistible. And for me, that's around $5.50, maybe even $6. The only thing I'll say about the larger view of this chart, that if we ever break below 550, I mean, it's not looking good at all. And honestly, even if the company is producing great things, remember, they still have to dilute us with some shares, and they're selling shares in the open market. So now if they're selling shares, they're selling them at $7 and not at the like $12 we were talking about when, or even $15 when we were talking about that they should be selling more shares, but now they're selling them for less. That means they'll dilute us further to get the same amount of money, right? Just obvious. It's math. But if we ever fall even further, I mean, look at this area. So we have this big drop that would happen if it ever grows below 550. I'm not saying it'll ever get there. I don't think it should. I think 550 is the bottom in this market, and other growth stocks are being hammered that are profitable. What happens to an unprofitable company? You tell me. If you think I'm wrong, go ahead. Go to our Discord. We actually have a lot of FUV discussion happening. Tell us where we're wrong and what we're seeing things wrong as investors in terms of just making money on a stock, not in terms of like the future and Arcimoto's future, which I think is bright. It's going to be amazing. But in the short term, I still think I'm going to hold off, wait till 550. The other thing I want to mention, this was shared by JoeBusLife. I'm not sure what your whole name is, but maybe Joseph. Thanks for sharing this. He's basically looking at some options, which I thought were very interesting. And I'm going to bring this up, and you guys should check this out on our Discord. But February 18th, and the prices have changed slightly, so don't take this at face value. I think Joe might be updating on our Discord, or you can just check it yourself, of course. But he was basically saying the risk reward, if the pump happens, is huge because you can be buying some of these options for pretty cheap. And here, like the February 18th option for $10 strike, I'm looking right here, he saw at 15 cents. It's actually probably cheaper now. So there's a possibility it's 10 or 5 cents if you can get it. And also the April 14th at the $20 strike. So he was looking at these to get the risk reward. So if the stock does get a short squeeze and it pumps, what can happen? Well, look at this. Like even at the $10 strike, if it hits around $11, you're talking about a 6x. Okay, so it's probably even better now because the stock actually dropped a bit. He was looking at a stock price of $7.16. It's under $7 now. So this is just very fascinating. And there's a link that he included to a spreadsheet, but I'm going to quickly just show some of it. He also talks about the April 14th, July 15th, December. So he gives some option prices and what can happen. So if the stock does happen to pump crazy, you're talking about, you're paying like 10 cents. Here's an April 14th example, 10 cents for the option price. And if it goes over $20, it's a 48x. That's what he's calculating. I haven't checked these figures, but because I haven't invested yet in this type of play, but I'm very curious as the stock falls, let's say it falls to like $6 or $5.50. I might have no choice but to even do this type of an option, maybe until April or July. And if it pumps beyond like $10, there could be a big upside for a tiny investment, basically. So I would never go all in on this. I'd be like maybe $250, $500, something like that. Give it a shot. It's gambling. I just want to point that out. This is pure gambling, pure speculation. But and I have my shares, so I'm not messing with those. So this would be a way to like, hey, what if this happens? What if Arcimoto 2 on February 22nd, 2022 just blows us away, blows us out of the water, announces their new vehicles, announces some fleet orders, announces more rental locations, does all of these things, then I don't know. I mean, honestly, this is all speculation. So if they do that, it'll be amazing. And some of Joe's predictions here would be just crazy. And we had a long discussion about this. So guys, check this out. This is absolutely amazing. We're posting all our charts, what's going on. Of course, we have our memes, so you can check those out too. It's a fun Discord. It's a big community growing, so come and join us. Okay, so moving on, I just wanted to cover Rivian for 2 seconds. Nothing really much to say except we drew this back at the IPO price, went like a day or two after, and we have a video somewhere. I'll post the link or up there to this Rivian thing. My projection was always like around $40, $50 straight down. Of course, it's taking its time, so maybe we correct this arrow right now live, and we just do what is probably going to happen here. Honestly, they are not going to do so well in this environment. There's just no way. And if they do, good on you, man. I'm just not going to participate in any of this. So if you think it's low now at $67, wait till it gets to around $40. Market cap currently is 60 billion. 30 billion, it should really be in half. It should even be lower, honestly. Yeah, let me go there. Let me go like $30 right now. We'll see what happens with Rivian, but honestly, even 30 billion is too much. So if you take a look, 60 billion. I don't know if you recall, maybe 2-3 years ago, Tesla was making, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of cars. They're worth 40 billion. These guys release, let's say even if they release 10, 20,000 cars, are they worth as much as Tesla was a couple of years ago? You can say everything's changed and they should be valued higher, but I don't know. I don't think so. I'm not willing to take that risk. I'd rather just buy more Tesla, buy more Enphase, and even FUV is looking better than Rivian, honestly. I'd rather buy FUV. Chargepoint, we've discussed at length too, and I'm going to include a video above and below, and it's finally, well, let me go over some stats. Chargepoint is at 1470. Market cap is under 5 billion. It might not hold as $14, but I had a range that it should be in even months and months ago. So everybody was making fun of me. Go to StockTwits, go to Reddit, go anywhere this video was posted. They were basically saying this will never happen. You're an idiot. Like stocks that are overvalued at some point come back to reality. And look, I bought plenty of them myself. It's not like I haven't, but you have to know where you are in the cycle. We are in a downtrending cycle, inflation problems, okay, recession problems, Fed raising interest rate problems. Like we have all of these issues. These stocks are not going to do well. You can have all your hopium. It's just not going to happen. Having said that, $14, would I DCA? Yeah. I mean, if Enphase was not down, if Square was not down, I'd be buying this, but they are down. So once again, I have a choice. Where does my dollar go? If I really, really loved Chargepoint, this is a good long-term play for the future, but you're going to be sitting in a lot of pain for a long time. Can it break down over here? And so the $14 breaks down? Yeah, why not? Can it go back to 10? Absolutely. Because if you look at even their price to sales now, let's take a quick look. Okay, even now, and some of Seeking Alpha, I noticed the numbers aren't always perfect, but let's say they're around 15 price to sales. So would you buy that or would you buy your Square? I'm just going to bring up Square for a second. So if you're already speculating, you have a choice between Chargepoint at 15 or Square. I think it's a little bit higher than this. It's probably around 6. But the point being that the price of sales of a profitable company is lower for a company that's massively growing and profitable than someone that is not profitable and their price of sales is just massive. So I think we still have a possible downtrend in this environment where there is no build back better plan. Seems like the rotation has happened out of these growth stocks. I wouldn't be rushing in, let me say full force. So I'm sorry if I'm hurting anybody here, but it's pretty obvious. It's painfully obvious now that you shouldn't be rushing in right now. Having said that, should you be dollar cost averaging? I don't see a reason not to dollar cost average because you never know when the market will turn around. As long as you're willing to hold this for a couple of years, even longer, as long as you're willing to wait and be patient. And even if it continues sideways or lower, so we have a long window. We've discussed this at length. You're talking about the end of 2022, possibly before it actually makes a clear breakout. Like this is just estimates and it doesn't have to hold this trend, but it's been holding this downward trend for a while. In fact, I had another line here which it broke through, and now it's in this bottom channel. So it's not looking good. I wouldn't go heavy into the Chargepoint right now. We have to mention Enphase, and in fact, I'll go back to the Discord just because there's so much discussion on Enphase. There's so many smart people talking about lots of things about Enphase, and I'll probably have a bigger video, but I want you to guys check it out, join it. Some people are connecting the dots with this guy, TJ Rogers, who's invested in a lot of clean energy tech and a bunch of companies, smart guy. Yeah, we post a lot about actual technical stuff as well to discuss why Enphase is killing it, why they are the better system, not even from our mouths, okay? As investors, we just want to know, what do the professionals think? And a lot of installers, if you go on search for them, they talk about why Enphase is better, why it's reliable. Having said that, I still want to buy my SolarEdge, and I was going to buy it today. It was going to be an update that I bought some SolarEdge today, but I happened to not buy it because it went up a little bit too much. So I'm figuring if there is still a market correction happening, I don't need to rush into buying my positions because everything is pumping today. Everything is green for the most part. Even Enphase is up 4.15% right now. We have a channel we're in. We're bouncing off of it, as you can see. And this channel's been here for a while, months and months at this point. And we'll link another Enphase video. So there's a lot of links to different videos I already did. Would I go full into Enphase at 140? You know, I'm already pretty heavy invested, but at this point, I would DCA. So let me put it clear, because we can have a nice drop to $109, which is very possible. If I extend this down a little bit, let's take a look at the history of this. We broke through $100 basically, $109. We touched it before during the last correction in May, and we might be touching it again. You know, I don't think we're going to break much further below it because that's insane. This is an ultra profitable company. And if it goes below $109, I hope you guys do not run out of it because it's crazy. If you're not selling it now, do not try to sell under $100. It's crazy. But having said that, if it goes under, I have to sell a lot of other stuff. So I'm trying to make a plan right now. What can I get rid of if Enphase is at $100? And what else can I get rid of if Enphase is under $100? Because we are being taken back in time right now. You're getting another chance to just buy one of the most highest quality engineering companies and clean renewable energy for the future. I don't know else how to put it. I'm going to include another link to our previous interview with Joe Ordia of SolarSurge, and he talks about the benefits of all these different brands, including Tesla and SolarEdge. So I'm going to put that link up above and below. My confidence is basically at 99.999% at this point. So anytime I see a drop in Enphase, I get happy. Anytime I see it rise, I actually get upset because I'm looking for $100 Enphase. And at that point, if it happens again, and you miss that because you were too scared. You really have to reevaluate your conviction in certain stocks, because if you have no conviction, you're not going to be able to hold it. Let's say the country does go into a recession and all growth stocks, we're talking about even Google gets hit. So Enphase is obviously going to go under 100. Like, it's obviously going to happen. Does that mean you sell? If you have to sell, then you shouldn't be buying anymore. I understand. But if you don't have to sell and you can hold and you can accumulate and you can save some money on the side, you should be buying the high quality ones. And I'm not just talking about Enphase. I'm talking about any stocks that you guys are tracking. It can get cut in half. Look, it can totally get cut in half. And that means this goes to $70. Is that possible? Yes, I'm going to give it the possibility that it's going to happen. Do I think it's very likely? I don't know who's going to let it drop that low. I would think the hedgies come in and do what they do and probably scoop it all up at around 100. That's what I would think. That's my plan, at least, to buy it real heavy at $100. And not like I didn't buy it heavy at 130. I already bought it heavy. But I would have to sell a lot of stuff and basically go into Enphase even harder. It's already 30% of my portfolio. We do have a Patreon member only section. So where we post all episodes, we're going to have all our trades. So anything we're buying, we're going to have in there. As you can see, Carlos recently did a little spec bet on space. So I'm sharing some of this right now, but please join our Patreon and you will get to, there's a lot of stuff coming. Spreadsheets are being added slowly as we speak about different companies we're tracking, episode ideas that we're having, we're going to discuss with the community. So we have a couple of people who joined. I appreciate you guys. Some of you are here in the channel right now. Mr. G is one, LG Investment is another, and Matt V, thanks for joining. You guys are great. And obviously hit us up in the Discord, in the private Patreon member, and let us know what you guys want to see, because we're going to cater some stuff only to you. And our Patreon, literally starting at $1 if you just want to support us, just because you like what we're doing, you like the Discord, you like chatting with us, that kind of stuff. It probably won't hurt you at all because you're buying Enphase at 140, but it'll help us slowly grow the channel and pay for some of these things we have to pay for. The next level up is 420, a favorite number. Become a fan, and there's a lot of benefits. You don't even have to go higher. This already has a lot of benefits with our trades and private Patreon Discord discussions. So take a look. We have slowly some people joining us. We appreciate it. Thank you all. And I'm going to shout them out one more time. LG Investments, thank you for joining us. Lee at LG Investments. Matt V, thanks for joining us. Mr. G, thanks for joining us and becoming a patron. Appreciate you guys. And if you want to see anything in particular, let us know. We're obviously paying attention and we're on the Discord all the time. Okay, guys, thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.